First off, we're going to start off with Otts's, are we going back to the 2019 meta? Somebody asked me to watch this today and see what I thought about it. So I will. Also, my webcam order is a little off for some reason. Let's go ahead and fix that real quick. Okay, let's go ahead and watch this.
Alright, check this out. This is me yesterday playing Hunters against a very decent group of survivors. It is a really interesting match that I'm about to show you, but when I got to the end and I saw their perks, it really made me realize just how seemingly little progress we've made on meta perks when we compare this back to my old YouTube videos from 3 years ago. We still have everyone running Dead Hard despite the perk being nerfed. Decisive is still common.
Yeah, Dead Hard used to be S+ tier. It used to be like one of the best perks in the game. Like top like 3 or 5. I think Dead Hard's like a strong A+ tier now. I feel like it's not. I feel like it's really, really good, but I don't feel like it's like busted. It's busted against certain killers for sure. Like mainly the killers I play, unfortunately. like Hunters, Billy, anybody who needs that last second shot around a corner and stuff like that. But it definitely got knocked down a peg, which I do appreciate. You know, it's not perfect still. It could use a little bit more work, but I am happy it's not like easy win for free the perk anymore. At least not consistently.
Be nerf. Adrenaline hasn't changed, and yet it's still very
yeah,
very
Addy's still really, really good.
Whereas before we had multiple borrowed times, now people, instead of running that or Iron Will, they simply run off the record, which is basically borrowed time on steroids plus some Iron Will put into the mix. With some of the free perk slots that they have, you also see them run things like Unbreakable. So there really seems
Resilience is there because, like, first off, Resilience does have an auxiliary like speed to gens. But Resilience is mostly there because the ping in this game is bad. Like, the servers are bad and everybody's laggy. So, like, you have to, like, bring defense against bad vaults. People get hit through vaults all the time that they should clearly make, so they want that extra vault speed. And since you've taken away Spine Chill's ability to do that, people are going to, like, always run Resilience. Always run Resilience. Because they want to confirm that they can actually make it through the vault now. Because, like, if the killer's laggy and you try to vault, even if you make it through and your feet touch the ground, you're still going to be getting hit through stuff, which is lame. People find anything and everything to complain about. That's one of the most exhausting things about, like, streaming DBD. Because, like, I care about, like, I've always cared in every game I've ever played about, like, about the meta, about what's popular, about balancing. That's just something I find passionate. I've never been in a game that's more exhausting to talk about the meta than this game. No, I've never been in a game that it's so exhausting to talk about the meta because everybody's so biased that you literally can't have a conversation. There's always bias in every game where you have a balanced conversation, right? That's what's gonna happen. But, like, I have never been in a game where everybody is so intentionally ignorant to trying to see what's good for game health and are only interested in what's best for them or what their favorite streamer tells them. It's so brainwashy, it's so brainless, and it's incredibly frustrating and continually exhausting to try and have conversations about the game health and what's strong and what's not and what deserves to be nerfed and what's not when everybody's essentially out for themselves. It is one of the worst communities I've ever been in for talking about game balance. Saying as people are running Resilience to defend themselves against the game itself? Yep. Literally, yep.
Be very, very little changes. And I don't know how you feel about this personally, but after you watch this game, you'll see that I lost my mind a little bit. I think these two are doing well. Running to safety.
Sorry, I forgot to turn on subtitles for people.
Oh. That's not quite safety, but...
There we go.
Wow. She's going to die to this add-on.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny? I was thinking about this, because, like, a few weeks ago, somebody made the claim that, like, I hate the game now, and it seems like I'm, like, disliking Dead by Daylight now. But, like people like ATTRIBUTION, like, get mad at the game all the time. People like Otts get mad at the game all the time. Like, even he just openly admitted, he's like, yeah, I kind of lost my line ability. I lost my cool. That doesn't mean that he hates the game. I know there's a lot of streamers out there that, like, grind this game way past the point of enjoying it, and they kind of have, like, little hate pity parties about the game. But just because you get tilted or you mauled at certain things does not mean you hate the game all of a sudden. It just means some things are frustrating. I've never gotten that as a logic. But even Otts does that. It's just stupid.
Sorry. Right, so we figured out more or less where everybody was.
That's...
Oh, wow, good attempt. Risky though.
I never thought about the idea that like
that was really good. Wait.
that off the record kind of fulfills what old
Dude,
BT
I thought
was.
that was a really good
Kind
play,
of a smart comparison, to be honest.
We'll take it. I changed my camera so I can see underneath the weapons.
I feel that way, Zan. I feel that way because like everybody like that's how I feel, Zan. It's just like to me it's like so obvious, right? That like those things are really, really annoying, and I get tired of talking about it, right? Like I don't not think those things anymore, right? I don't not think those things anymore, but it's just like I got so tired of talking about it because like until it changes, it's just staying the same way. Like yeah, I'll still point it out. I'll be like, haha, free slowdown and funny perk, but like, you know, I'm not gonna like have a full blown conversation about how I don't enjoy the state of the meta with that because like I've said it 14 million times, you know. I'm just tired now. Crazy how basically over the thread, even if you don't talk, so another chase person stages though there it comes with a body block. Yep. Comp is a very, very interesting version of the game that kind of exists in its own pocket away from the rest of the game sphere. So a lot of weird stuff is good that isn't, or has different applications that isn't the same in pubs. Game always hold a special place in my heart for mental reasons. I basically take a couple hours, 2 days a week. I know my limits. I think that's the problem with people in this game is they don't know their limits. They don't stop when they're not having a good time. Like today I started React Andy times early because I had 2.5+ hours of just boring games. And it was irritating me. It was literally giving me a headache. No pun intended. It was giving me a headache. So I just like, okay, well, we'll React Andy, and if I'm feeling up to it later, I'll come back. That's fine. You know, that's fine. I'll come back. It's okay. So people just like smack their head against the wall. It's literally, you know, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. I don't want to keep doing the same thing over again, expecting different results. I'm just going to switch things up, take a little break, come back, play the game later. Yeah, you just take a break. You just take a break.
Oh, are you in a bad spot, Laurie? Or is it just me? Thought I might be able to clip your head.
Wow.
It didn't seem like that was the play, but...
I would have clipped the rock probably if I had done that. That was very good, actually.
Good job. Good dodge. Someone's close. Yeah, thank you for reviewing yourself. Good job. If she takes that, she shouldn't be able to make it back unless they have a third person here. Okay, we kick the gen and we see people. We have one hatchet.
So this is supposed to be illustrating to us how the meta has not changed since 2019. He's doing a match demonstration.
Almost there though.
Hopefully I start to see that.
And we figure out what's going on. They came here and they left. Do you think the new map is
I hate seeing that. I hate seeing that reload without Iron Maiden.
Very, very difficult in some areas. I don't know if RNG plays a big part. The loops themselves, yeah, they seem pretty killer-sided. If you're like a trickster or a slinger or whatever. But the size of the map itself and the fact that lockers might be tricky might actually be bad. I don't know. That could have been nice. Chad, I'm gonna try something.
He said he isn't good with, yeah. But even like Otts' Huntress is like way better than like mine. You know, just because of his game knowledge in general.
Exactly when she should have.
Yeah. I mean, like to a smaller extent, that's why I can play most of the roster. It's just because like I've generally got a good idea how the game works. Even if I'm not playing somebody I'm good at. You know.
I see the ace.
That's what he's doing, except like times 3, with like 3 times the hours, right?
Nice. Honestly, I didn't expect that. Oh, that's quite good from her. Wow, dude, she's so hard to gauge, Chad.
Yeah, he's just being 110 here. It sucks.
All right, next time she'll drop it, right?
That's why Huntress. That's why people like try to say that Huntress is like top 10 in the game. She might be fairly, but I don't think so. I think she sits in that weird spot of like just barely not being in B tier, or maybe top of B tier, because stuff like that, which is so simple. This is just a path tile, right? This is literally just a path tile. This is literally just a path tile, and she can't do anything there. Like, she literally can't. She just has to, like, force the pallet drop and just follow her around. So it's like there's just little stuff like that, like, really holds her back. Also, certain tile setups, like in high walls, and just, she's so map dependent, I think is what I'm trying to say. She's incredibly map dependent, which by nature, if you're looking at a tier list, you're looking at consistency. She's not consistent. She's very map dependent. Very, very map dependent.
That's pretty insane.
She's also, yeah, Leo's right. She's also very good at camping. She's like Bubba's obviously a king camper, but Huntress is pretty good, especially with like O-Caft. Ooh. Same thing with Trickster. Trickster's also very, very good.
Wow.
The snowman cucked him. Oh,
bro,
the collision of the tree.
The
collision of the tree was wider than the fuck. Ah! The collision of the tree was wider than the physical object. This is my pain. This is my pain. This is the. I felt that in my bones. There's so much. That's another thing. She is a precision killer, so because she's a precision killer, she is at the mercy of the game's wonky hitboxes. Or wonky collision, sorry. Hitboxes is like hitting things. The wonky collision of the game. So like that, where he aimed perfectly and technically made it around the tree, because the tree's collision is slightly wider than the physical model, it's just going to collide anyway. And you're going to get a ton of shots like that. And that also really holds her back. When the final shot can make or break a whole game, and it just hits something that's not physically there, whereas like, you know, somebody else like Blight or Nurse or Wesker could like hit that the same way, like it throws her down. It throws her down, you know. Good night, Des. I appreciate you. Rest well, nerd.
I have to admit, thank you. Ew. She's gaming? Well played, dude. That was lucky.
No, trust me, Paul. That's not what happened.
Up to that moment was very
that's not what happened.
I'll admit.
Trust me. My secondary is Billy. I am very intimately aware of how bad the boxes are in this game for the collision. I am very painfully aware of how terrible they are. That was just the tree having way too big of a collision. When you spend hours, hundreds of hours in this game trying to curve every object, you learn how janky the collision in this game is. And it's more awful than you think. It is more awful than you think. Trust me.
Are you injured and coming here? For what reason? Crazy horse. Huh?
I know he said horse, but I thought he said horse.
That must be Ace,
called him a
right?
horse. I called him. Yeah, you're just a farm animal.
Do I want to get 4 hooks on 4 different people? Frankly, no.
Yeah.
Unlucky. Unlucky. Times 2.
Times 2.
Wow. Held it like a champ.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Because, like, if you have, like, they're just, like, this is becoming a conversation about Huntress more than, like, the balance of the game, but he's not really talking about it right now, but he will later, probably. But, like, when you have something like a simple path tile like that, suddenly you become, like, equal in strength to, like a jungle gym, just because of the character you're playing, that character can't be that great, you know? They can be good, but they can't be, like, you know, amazing. Because you can't have something as simple as a path tile suddenly becoming a problem, right? Like every other killer just you know, can do stuff.
Already? Jesus! I just realized no one's healed. Literally no one's healed.
Yeah, which is a smart thing. You stay injured and you just do gens. Because healing is time, and time in DBD is gen time.
That would be funny. This girl has that hard. That's why I'm scared.
She's being really patient with it too. Wow.
I'm sorry, like, I'm stupid, but at the same time, like, what the actual hell?
Wow.
What the actual hell, man? How do you do that?
See, this sounds like me. This sounds like when I get a team like this.
Oh my lord. Okay. Oh, nice one.
Yep. And even though she was
Agreed.
She was early, but, you know, because they adjusted flashlights to be easier now, you can be early and it doesn't matter. That has been so frustrating to deal with. That's been like, remember when palette validation first dropped, how much I hated that? How much I hated that update? I feel that way about flashlights now. Because it's the same thing, right? Like, palettes, people that used to camp palettes, like, weren't able to do that because it was risky. And it should be risky because it's a dumb play. Like, it's like you're not taking like, you're not doing anything risky, you're doing something, like, essentially brainless. It doesn't require any thought. Any thought. So when palette validation first went through, I hated it a lot because it rewarded people who made unskillful plays, right? Now, flashlights are kind of like in a weird, similar zone where, like, you can be super duper early. You can be super early and it doesn't matter anymore. So it's taking something that's supposed to be difficult and making it, like, simple. So I hate that change. And like, even survivors don't like it either, because, like, the survivors who actually were dedicated to flashlight saves and stuff like that liked flashlight saves because they were difficult, because they were skillful to pull off. They felt good when they pulled it off. And that's not so much the case anymore. So
it's not greed, dude. It's just good old-fashioned.
Whereas perks, he is using. Hold on, my big face is in the way. Hold on, let me move. What? He's using nowhere to hide, Call of Brine, lethal, and corrupt. Boop.
There's some angles you can shoot through there, but not as this killer, I don't think. Bruh, I don't get this either.
I think using I will say that using a kick build on a 110 killer is kind of like a choice. I'm not going to tell Darva of all people to play the game, right? Obviously, he has like 3 times my hours. But like, it can be risky using a kick build on a 110 killer, because they quite literally don't get around the map with the same efficiency as other people do. So, yeah.
Thank you. Jesus. I don't even have a gentle kick, quite honestly.
Yeah, because like he just said that. Like look at this. He literally just said that. He just admitted to it. It's like he has to go cross map now and check this gen, and then there's a gen and shack behind where his head is, and I think there's a gen up here to the left somewhere. He has to, like, as a 110 killer, just kind of like wander around the map without a movement ability, without being 115, to try and get value out of 2 of his perks. Like, it's spooky. It's a big risk. I think this match Ott showed doesn't show much because he did some mistakes. He didn't use line of sight. The zone areas. That's a thing. That's a thing that, like, that's something I understand as Huntress. And I know why people do it, because it's like, you don't want to zone because zoning's boring, right? Like, it's just not fun to just hold your hatchet and just wait for somebody to mess up. It's boring. Like, you're literally just sitting there, right? But it is good. Just the same way, like, dragging your sword for your righteous judgment is Pyramid Head. It's boring, but it gets you the hit. You'd much rather go for the M2 and get, like, a style shot and be like, haha, that was so cool. But, like, the safe play and the smart play is just hold the sword in the ground and zone. But it's not fun. And we play games to have fun, so. Criticism about his gameplay? I mean, it's like, there's a lot of it's not even his fault, necessarily.
Bruh.
I think with me, it's like, the main thing I questioned was the perk choice, but like, it's not even a bad perk choice. It's a good build. It's just like, it's risky, you know. It could be good, but it could also fail because of the kind of character he's playing.
Maybe DS is not necessary. Is he not? They'll have reassurance, maybe. Oh man, sucks that we're in this position at least. Are they sending both injured, both healthy people? Yeah, they are.
And this is also worth mentioning since we're talking about it. Is he's playing pubs, right? Like, he's not like intentionally going against like really, really good like teams, right? So like you can't afford to kind of run lazier perk builds most of the time. Not lazier, but like perk builds that may not be the best or the most optimal or whatever. Because like, you know, in pubs you can, you know, the average team will let you kind of like roam the map a little bit, kick a gen a little bit, you know, do all these things. So it's not even necessarily like, you know, he's intentionally dumb for running this build. Like, it's just like, it's a risky, right? Because if you do end up running into a really, really good team, like this one apparently is, like, you may not be able to go around and kick people, right? Or kick people, kick gens. The survivors.
They know that they
wow, that was good.
This because it's not been hooked. Oh,
did that to get rid of the dead hard? Yep.
You have DS, damn dude.
Yep.
Yikes.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Yep.
I guess we have to eat it. Oh. Oh, it's off the record.
I do that a lot.
DS. Yikes, no.
Okay.
Oh no. What do I do, chat? That guy's up already.
Wow, they already got him up? Oh my god. That's so frustrating.
Can't wait for someone to tell me that DS is terrible.
I mean, it
Can't wait
is.
for someone to tell me that DS should be buffed back to 5 seconds.
I mean, it should. Just because you're having a bad experience does not change that.
Please don't get ahead of me somehow. Thank you. Phew. Alright. She'll try to dead hard at the hook, my guess.
Yeah, just because you're having a bad experience does not mean that is true.
Jesus. Haven't seen Diaz in so long. Maybe you just played really fair, which is, you know, good for you.
Because like he downed her in like 2 seconds after like she hit the DS and she made it about what 5 seconds worth of chase. Right? Like she bought 5 seconds of the time and that was it. 8 if you count the DS itself. Right?
If I chase this girl, I'm eating an adrenaline in 2 seconds.
Yeah. I'm surprised it's a perk that stayed the way it is for so long, but honestly, like it's you have to win the game, you know, to get it. So I understand why.
Oh my god, you're running around so well. Actually,
it's strong, but I don't think it's like you know
ready for it.
Needed to be nerfed or changed. Because that's my philosophy. It's okay if things are strong in the game, right? Like I'm cool with things being strong. You don't want a world where everything is C tier strength. Because ideally, if everything's like C tier strength, everything's boring, right? There's no like fun combos. There's no fun perks. There's no fun anything, right? If everything's C tier, everything's average by nature, right? You want to have strong things, and you want to have slightly weak things by comparison, right? Ideally, in a perfect world, most perks will be A or B tier, right? That's what we want. And so I'm cool with there being like A tier perks, you know.
That was not a horrible idea, but it wasn't very well executed, I would say. That's very unlucky from you. She dead harded that. Oh, that's trouble. That's insane.
Wow.
That's actually insane. I'm worried, chat. I'm worried about Adrent.
Oh, shit.
I needed to worry about something else.
Oh, that's so painful.
Okay.
Oh, we all
have
have matches like this. It's I feel for that. Oh.
Well. Yes, they messed up unless they have
that ready.
They didn't. Oh, thank goodness. Oh,
that was so scary.
They needed that like a second.
That was so terrifying. I clenched.
Honestly, what I could have done.
I clenched.
What I could have done. Simply drop her and pick up Rebecca instead. That might have been for the best. Because
like, when was the last time he actually like kicked the? Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, when was the last time he actually kicked something in this match? You know, a lot of it has to do with like having a wrong build for the kind of like intensity that survivors have.
Because you know she's already used to. Looking at the ground, she's been there for a little while. The other gens did not have that much progress. What's my play here, chat? What's my play? The unbreakable from Rebecca that will happen now, I guess.
We lost a match on Monday with Deathslinger because somebody brought unbreakable, even though I won the match.
We have 6. We can't mess this up. Yeah, they would have used it now if they had it. Surely, right?
No, they...
Just wait until he makes a mistake. Okay, maybe he won't make a mistake, chat.
Oh.
Let's see, you're that hard as well. Okay.
Wow.
These guys were serious. I don't think
he got it
on at all.
Wow.
We were very lucky that they spawned there, and Corrupt, you know, parried everything like a Street Fighter tournament, dude. Every gen they spawn on, Corrupt.
A Street Fighter tournament? What?
Other perks. Lethal was useful as well.
Somebody used to compete in those. I don't understand that analogy.
In a place where we could chase them. Let's see what they had. Oh. Yikes, they did have 3 of them. Very lucky. Rebecca was the one person without one. Ace was.
Yeah, wow. That is lucky.
At that point.
Wow.
That is... Dude, that is a...
End game? Yeah, they played that wrong at the end, for sure.
Man, if it wasn't for Off the Record being in 3 out of the 4, that is such a 2019, 2018... Even with the BMP, even with the Orman, which back then was super strong.
Yeah, old Orman was terrible.
It was like current Orman, but... In the areas where there's like one jungle gym, there was like 3 of them in a row. Yeah,
it was terrible.
Disgusting.
You know that little back area, but in Garden of Joy, where it's like shack into the path tile into the jungle gym? You know that? That was like all of Ormond all around the main building. It was so terrible. It was so terrifying. Literally, that little back corner of Garden of Joy that's super strong. Imagine that except a whole freaking map. Oh man, old Ormond was terrible. Old Ormond was... It was one of the most frustrating maps in the game. Like, holy moly.
So they would send you there. Okay, a blast from the past that I do not appreciate at all. Thank you, though.
Oh, he doesn't elaborate more on... Oh, he doesn't elaborate more. Oh. I was actually really excited to hear him elaborate more on, like, how the meta is, like... Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Reverted back. I think, like, even just, like, looking at this... Like, I don't think... Like, I don't know, dude. Because, like, I still think this is overall... Because, like, DS is weaker. Dead Hard is weaker. Unbreakable is the same. Addy's the same. Off the Record is pretty strong. And kind of fills the role of old BT. But I still think overall this is generally, like this is... Like, he's right that, like, the perks look similar. But most of the perks are worse versions of themselves from that year. You know? I think for your communication on YouTube, you have to do a clear indication. We're talking about flipping comms and the team. I never talk about comms. I never talk about comp. Nobody should ever talk about, like, game balance and stuff towards comp unless they specifically say, like, I play comp, I watch a lot of comp, we're talking about comp. Because comp is a completely different game. Never, like, that's not on me, that's on people. Like, that's stupid, in my opinion. That's dumb to be like, well, what about comp? Like, of course comp is a completely different game. Comp is, like, not at all, like, similar at all to the things that we do and say. Like, in pubs. So, like, the assumption should always be pubs. That's not on me. Because comp is played completely differently. Completely differently. The assumption should always be pubs. The Rebecca commented they face sweaty nurses and blight, so they have a sweaty group of perks because of the game. Yep. That's why do you think I bring a gen perk every match? You hear me talk about how much I hate gen perks. Why do you think I bring one every match? It's either hyper focus or proof. I bring one every match. Why? Because I don't want to face a sweaty nurse and like get dunked on because she had 4 slowdown because she's playing for her McDonald's gift card, right? Like, face a Wesker with quad slowdown and just have a miserable time. No, I'm gonna bring a little bit of insurance, right? So I can not have an awful time. You know, it just makes sense. But yeah, it's just like most of these, like I was saying, like most of these like are weaker versions of themselves, and I think in general, like this is not as bad as 2018, 2019 DBD, which is like. I guess that's just, it just makes me happy, right? In a sense, because like, we're seeing similar builds, but they are weaker. And that's kind of like I guess that's my icing on the crap cake, right? Is that like, you know, I did used to face this stuff. I did used to face all builds that were this all the way down. Of course, he's talking about, you know, Off the Record was replaced with BT, or replaced BT rather. Like, I used to face builds like this all the time and be super duper frustrated. I remember being DS'd, and DS would never deactivate for any reason. DS'd while picking somebody off of gen. DS'd while picking somebody off of, like, a hook, you know? Like, they were just invincible. Dead Hard obviously was a free to a pallet, free to a window, you know, free pressure in a chase for no reason. So, like, I don't know. I guess it's just, you know, retrospective is, like, you know, nice because like these are similar perks, but they are weaker versions. So even though they are frustrating, they're not as strong, which is nice. Like the road to balancing a game will never be finished, and I think that's something that we always need to remember. A road to balance a game will never ever be balanced. That like games can be very very close to balanced, but games will never truly be balanced, especially something as asymmetrical and strange as this party game that is Dead by Daylight. Nothing will ever be balanced. So you got to pick your victories, and you got to be happy with the way things, like the positives that come through, while continuing to rightfully criticize things that may be too much. You know? And I think, like, you know, my caveat is, like I said, a lot of this stuff is a lot weaker than it used to be. And it's shown that we have made progress. We may not be there yet, by a long extent, but we have made progress. We have made progress. So I think that's a good thing. But like I said, the fight is never done. There's always more stuff to criticize. You know, like Dead-Hearted Pallets we were talking about in a different video. Dead-Hearted Pallets is free still. That's not good. It's not good at all. Is Off the Record possibly too strong? Good question. Might be worth looking at. The Unbreakable base kit changes that you guys are talking about. Well, if those go through, is that too much? I think it's dumb. I think both the Mori system and the Unbreakable system are dumb in my opinion. Yeah, that goes through. We're gonna have to deal with that question of, is that balanced? It's gonna never end. It's gonna never end. It's just about keeping your head on your shoulders, taking your small victories. Like, hey, at least DS isn't as dumb anymore, you know, and stuff like that. Yeah, you just gotta keep that perspective. And that's the problem. That's why we argue so much in DBD, because a lot of people don't have that perspective. A lot of people didn't play against these perks when they were in their current form. A lot of people started playing this year. You know, Majesty that comes around a lot. Majesty started playing last month. A lot of people haven't had to face these things. So they just don't have that perspective. So they're just mad at things and don't really understand that things used to be worse. DBD is dumb. GG's. Yep. Good talk. DBD is dumb. GG's. DBD is done. The end. This is the Odd Streets talking about? Okay, let me take a gander at that. To those who complain about DBD's current meta, it's the most anti-fun one ever, you might be right. However, you're a much closer decent point of perk balance. Hey, that's what I was literally just saying that. With a few more tweaks, both sides could have a ton of viable builds. More or less than ever. Highest priority of perk change, in my opinion, should be focused on reducing punishment for solo queue players. Yep. Encouraging killers to hook rather than perma-kicking gens. Yes. And discouraging the stacking of strong items. Yes. There we go. See? I almost literally just said that. I almost literally just said that verbatim. He's right. Like, literally, other than those three things, it's just that these three things are super severe. You know what I'm saying? Like, these three things are super severe. That's why it feels bad. Because these things are really bad. It may only be quantitatively, this is only three things technically wrong that are, like, super bad. But, like, qualitatively, they're pretty intense. They're pretty intense. He had a BNP in that game that he played. BNPs are stupid. And they're very common now because of the blood point changes. And the blood costs. So, like, technically, that is only three things, though. So they can get around to that. And if they fix that, like, we're fine, right? We're fine, right? I think he's got a really, really good point there. Got a really, really good point.